San Diego might be the most misunderstood city in America when it comes to money. And I think a lot of people who are moving here are setting themselves up to fail before they even pack a box. I've been selling real estate here in San Diego for 9 years, and I will tell you the number of people who show up to this city without a realistic picture of what it actually costs is a lot. Like a lot. Because here's what happens. People fall in love with the idea of San Diego, the weather, the beaches, and the lifestyle, and they Google cost of living San Diego, and they see a number that they think they can manage. And then they get here, and reality hits. And reality in San Diego does not play around. I've seen families burn through their savings in 18 months. I've seen people buy way more house than they can actually afford because they didn't understand the full picture. And I've also seen people who thought they couldn't afford San Diego realize that with the right strategy, they actually could. So this video is for both of those people. My name is Matt Thornberg. I run a real estate team here in San Diego, and if you're new here, welcome. What I do on this channel is give you the straight, honest, no spin version of what's happening in San Diego real estate and San Diego life. No hype, no pressure, just real information that you can actually use. If that sounds like your kind of content, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps more people find this information. And when the time is right for you, there's a link in the description down below where you can book a call with me directly. Zero pressure, just a conversation. All right, let's get into it. Let me tell you a true story about a property that we literally just closed a couple of weeks ago, and a client who didn't think that he could afford a property here in San Diego. In fact, he was referred to me by another really good client, and when we sat down, he wanted to talk about owning a mobile home, which I don't do. I told him, let's talk about it. Let's talk about his goals and everything. And if a mobile home really was the best fit for him, that I would refer him to an agent that I know that does those, and she would take really good care of him. But first, I wanted to learn more about him and his life and what he loved to do and what his goals were. We sat down, we found out through a long conversation that he loves to travel. He loves food, he loves other cultures, and he loves dining in other cultures. He told me this amazing story about this 9-course omakase meal that he had in Japan. So we found out that his passion in life is traveling, and we wanted to use real estate to finance it. The problem was he didn't think he could afford anything in San Diego. So we sat down with a lender, we looked through his finances, we advised him where he could make some better financial decisions. We also tightened up his debt. We created a real plan, and now he's got a condo instead of a mobile home, and that condo is going to gain equity, and in the next 7 to 10 years he'll be able to sell that condo and use its proceeds to buy a house. And guess what that house will pay for? The equity on that house will pay for a lot more traveling and a whole lot more food to eat in other countries with really cool cultures. Now he's a guy who owns a home here in San Diego who never thought he could. And look, that story isn't rare. That's just a regular Tuesday for us. The reason it keeps happening is because most of the cost of living info that's out there is either outdated, averaged out in a way that hides the real numbers, or is written by somebody who lives in frickin' Wisconsin. So let me give you a real picture. And I mean real, like I'm gonna say some things that might make you a little uncomfortable real. I'm gonna break this down into 5 buckets: housing, food, everyday expenses, transportation, taxes, and insurance. That might be 6, whatever. Because California has opinions about your money. And then I'll tell you what salary you actually need to live here comfortably. Not survive, comfortably. Those are very different numbers in San Diego. All right, let's start with the big one: housing. If you're renting, here's what you're looking at as of 2026. A one bedroom apartment in a decent part of San Diego is gonna run you somewhere between $2,000 and $2,800 a month. A 2-bedroom, you're probably looking at somewhere between that $2,800 and $3,800, depending on where you want to be and what's included. And if you want to be near the coast, add another $500 to $1,000 on top of that. Coastal San Diego is not cheap. And this is not breaking news, but I want you to have the actual number in your head. Now, if you're buying, which is what most people I work with are doing, of course, because that's what I do, the median home price in San Diego County right now is sitting right around $900,000 to $950,000. That is the median, meaning that half of the homes are above that. So if you want a single family home in a family friendly neighborhood, think somewhere like Carmel Valley, Scripps Ranch, or Poway, or even in the city center somewhere like Mission Hills or South Park, then you're realistically looking at well over $1 million. Now, before you close the tab on me immediately, hold on, because $1 million home in San Diego is not the same as $1 million home somewhere else. You're getting a lot for that money in terms of lifestyle, long-term appreciation, weather, and culture. But sometimes the reality doesn't translate to what you get in property size. And the monthly payment is a reality that you need to know going in. On a $950,000 home with 20% down at today's rates, you're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,500 to $6,500 a month, depending on your rate, taxes, and HOA if there is one. Now, remember to verify current 30-year fixed rate mortgages and recalculate this because they change literally every single day. Here's the good news though, and I say this as someone who has helped so many people figure out what's actually possible for them here in San Diego. There are pockets in communities where you can find really solid value for your dollar. There are areas that get overlooked and shouldn't. If location flexibility is okay with you, that's a smart strategy and you can save real money. Okay, food, the fun stuff. Groceries in San Diego run anywhere from 15 to 30% above the national average. If you're feeding a family of 4 and you cook at home most nights, budget somewhere between $1,000 and $1,400 a month for groceries. We spend about $1,400 to $1,500 a month. Now, that's a real number. Not we're eating ramen every night and not we're doing farm to table organic everything every night. Just normal food for a normal family. Eating out, this is San Diego, and the restaurant scene here is genuinely incredible. We have award-winning restaurants everywhere. I'm a little biased, but I'm also correct. A casual sit-down meal for 2, bare minimum $80 to $100. And if you've got a family of 4, think about doing that a few times a week. You can see how fast that's going to add up. So you're going to need a budget accordingly. And by the way, that's the bare minimum. You want to enjoy some of our finer eatings here? Think about anywhere between $250 and $500 a meal for a couple. Transportation. San Diego is a car city. I know people who have tried to go car free here, and some of them have made it work kinda. Mainly if they live and work in the same area, but most people, you need a car, okay? Or at least one car per adult household. Gas in California is consistently among the highest in the entire country. Right now, you're looking at anywhere between $4.50 and $6 a gallon, depending on the day of the week and where you're stopping. If you've got a longer commute, say San Marcos or Chula Vista into UTC or Sorrento Valley, you're burning 45 minutes to an hour and a half in the car each way every single day. That is time and money. Car insurance in California has also gotten more expensive. The insurance market here has been under a lot of pressure lately. I'll actually do a separate video on insurance altogether because there's so much that goes into it. Stay tuned for that. But it's affecting buyers and sellers in most ways that people don't even know about. For now, you want to think about budgeting at least $150 to $250 a month per car for insurance, depending on your record and your vehicle, of course. Taxes and hidden costs. California has feelings about your income, strong feelings. The state income tax here is one of the highest in the country. I hate it. The top rate hits 13.3%. Now, most people aren't in that top rate, but even at the middle range, you're giving California a meaningful chunk of your paycheck. Property taxes on a home in San Diego County run about 1.1 to 1.25% of the assessed value annually, plus any Mello-Roos fees if you're in a newer development. Mello-Roos is something I get asked about constantly, and it can add hundreds of dollars a month to your cost of ownership. And if you don't know what Mello-Roos are, don't worry, I'm going to make a full video dedicated to Mello-Roos because they're confusing and they deserve it, okay? Utilities. In San Diego, you're mostly not dealing with heating costs, which is a genuine win. It stays warm here all the time, but SDG&E is expensive. Budget anywhere between $150 to $300 a month, depending on the size of your home and how hot the summer is going to get, because you're going to be running that AC. And if you live in East County, you might want to double that. It gets hot there. So let's put this all together now. What do you actually need to earn to live comfortably in San Diego in 2026 and beyond? If you're renting and you're single, no kids, with a modest lifestyle, I'd say you probably need to be in the $75,000 to $90,000 a year range after taxes to not feel like you're constantly paddling. You can survive on less, but remember, I said comfortably, enjoying life and enjoying the city. Now, if you're a couple who's renting, you're probably going to want a combined salary of anywhere between $115,000 to $145,000 a year to live comfortably, to go out occasionally, to save something for the future, to have a car that's decent, and to not stress every single month. If you're a family looking to buy a home in a good school district, you need a household income somewhere between $200,000 and $250,000 or more to buy a meaningful home and not be house poor. And I know that sounds like a lot, because it is a lot, but that's the honest answer. Now, here's what I want you to take away from this, and this is the part that actually matters. The number isn't the whole story, because two families with the same income can have wildly different experiences in San Diego depending on their strategy, where they buy, when they buy, how they structure their finances. That's the stuff that actually moves the needle, and that's what I help people figure out. Before I wrap up, let me give you a quick framework for neighborhoods by budget, because San Diego is a huge place and where you land matters a lot. If your budget is $700,000 or in that range, you're going to want to look at East County, La Mesa, El Cajon, Lemon Grove, Spring Valley, and the South Bay maybe. Real neighborhoods, real families, real value. Between $700,000 and $900,000 or $1 million maybe, Chula Vista, National City, and parts of San Diego like City Heights are going to have a lot of options for you. And that higher 900,000 range up to like 1.2 and change, this is where you start getting into Santee, Poway, parts of Escondido. Claremont is a good one in that price range. Allied Gardens, Serra Mesa, etc. Above 1.2 million, and your options really start to open up. This is when you can start looking at places like Carmel Valley, Scripps Ranch, South Park, University Heights, Mission Hills. And yes, these are great options. They are also the beginning of starting to get real expensive here, right? But the appreciation history and the quality of life in those areas is really hard to argue with. There's a client I sold a townhouse to for $1.2 million years ago in Golden Hill who absolutely loves it. He was relocating here from Washington and couldn't believe he was spending so much money on a townhouse of all things. But that neighborhood is amazing. He's walking everywhere, really enjoying it. And when I run into him, because I live in the same neighborhood, he's the happiest that he could ever be. And that's what your money buys you here in San Diego. Now, here's where we're going to wrap things up. And this is what I want to leave you with. San Diego is expensive. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But expensive and not worth it are two completely different things. And for the right person with the right plan, this city is absolutely worth it. I've watched families come here and build a life they couldn't have imagined anywhere else. I've also watched people come unprepared and struggle. The difference is almost always preparation and strategy. If you're thinking about making a move, whether you're buying, renting, relocating, or just trying to figure out if San Diego makes sense for you financially, I'd love to have that conversation with you. No pitch, no pressure, just a real talk about your situation and what's actually possible. That first link down in the description will take you to my calendar where you can grab a time that works for you and we can figure this out together. If this video helped you in any way, give it a like and subscribe if you want, because more of this content is on your way. Drop your questions in the comments. I read them, I respond to them, and I honestly help people try to figure out what's next for them here in San Diego. I'll see you in the next one. I love this freaking city.